Hello. Okay, with this one we're going to look at the selective color correction we looked at in some of the workshops. So I'm going to keep this quite brief. Firstly though, as far as this timeline, see I can change the size of the timeline so we can see the color corrector a bit better. A color corrector will appear in the viewer here. So I'm just going to stretch that out and bring that down instead. Okay, just so you can see it a bit better on the video. Right, the clip we're using, basically what we're going to do is make everything black and white apart from the reds here. What you would be doing though, if you are going to do this sort of thing, you should be planning ahead. So here, this shot's quite useful because there's only one strong red here, so we can select this one piece. So take Schindler's List again, the example with the girl in the red coat, the only colour in the entire film, apart from the bookended pieces. I would say that all the rest of the people now would have been in muddy browns and muddy greens, colours completely different to the reds, making it easier to tweak and grab the one colour we're looking for. Okay, so I've got my in and out points on this clip. If you want to do this the same, it's on the Mullen Orphans video clip, which is on most of the machines on C114, and your in point there is 48 seconds and 4 frames, and out point, whoops, and out point just the end of the clip. Okay, so drag that down, and yes, we would like to change it. It's on our timeline here. My timeline's tiny at the moment, so I can't see the clip, so press Z or your magnifying glass. Just zoom in so we can see what we're working with here. Okay, so this is our red here, so I want to pick that color. So double click your clip so that you're working in the viewer, and you're going to use Video Filters Color Correction, a 3-way color corrector. Okay, appears as a new tab on your viewer, and here we go. So we want to use the limit effect down the bottom here, so that's selecting the color we're going to play with, we're going to manipulate. And here's our new window. So what we need to do first is, I'm just going to click away from that, we need to select the color here that we're going to use. Let me make it brighter as well. So use the pipette to select the color, and you'll see straight away I've clicked on the red, and in our limit effect it's realized that the reds is what we're looking to manipulate. We have a lot of shades to the red here, so rather than just selecting one area, if you now hold shift and hit the select color again, you know pipette now has a wee plus sign next to it, so you're selecting different areas of the red. So I'm just going to grab a few more here, just out of habit, get the darker reds as well. You will see the limit effect is changing and growing as we change the areas of the red we're looking for. That'll do a few clips there. Right, under the pipette is a key for viewing the final image, the matte image, and the source. Let's go to the matte, and here we can see, now we're just going to bring these reds in as well, okay, because like I say, you'd have to pick and design the shot before you do this work. So here's a prime example. If you don't set it correctly, you're ending up with this area here too. So this is the colours we're going to manipulate at the moment. It's a bit speckled, so let's start changing. The darker areas here of the red we haven't selected. Now down here you've got the depth, the saturation of the colours, so to the brighter of the red and the darker of the red, and then you've got the actual brightness itself. So you've got the colour and you've got the light hitting. So it's a dark area, so I'm going to bring the luma on the top handle right the way back to the black, and you can see it's moved quite a lot more. I'll bring the saturation back to the darker reds. Now when I did that, you can see we're starting to pull into the skin tone here. We don't want to do that, so another Command Z just to undo what you've done, and you can just tweak it back a little bit. Let's bring the brighter areas up again. That's kind of working. We could also add to the reds in our limit. Pull that along and you can see it start to bring it out a little bit better. And these last areas we haven't got, these wee speckles of black, you can bring the softening in, which will blend them to what we've got. Kind of a blur. Sometimes it will look nice if it's against other colours, so it's just for your eye if you're going to use that. The edge thin, as you can see, it expands it and sharpens it. I think we'll use a bit of that. I think that should be fine. So it is a bit of trial and error and a lot of patience, but if you know the basic principles of all these, you'll go okay. Right, so that's what I've selected. Click the button 2 more times. Okay, that's the source there with the blue high. The blue highlight is the source clip, and this is our final one. No difference yet. So we've selected that color to manipulate. So if we pull the saturation to the left, the reds are going to go black. So we've changed them to black and white. It's the other colors we want to change. So the final thing we need to do there is with the bottom button here is invert our selection, and there we have the reds coming through. And that's how you do your basic selective color correction. Let's keep going with it now though. Now we have selected, we're now playing with the black and whites here. So rather than just basic black and white, again, like in the class before with the gravestone, we can now stylize the background and play particularly with that. Let's go the other way though. Let's invert it back to the reds that we're playing with. So now all this area up here we're going to use to manipulate the reds. So we can use this for our obvious selective color correction with the black and white and the color, or now we are playing with the reds only, so maybe that scarf is the most important thing within the frame, so we could draw the viewer's eye to it a little more by bringing the saturation up. Okay, so you can see to the extreme there. You can just bring it up and just start to bring the highlight to that so it's the most noticeable area. Okay, let's keep going. Right, if we change our video back to black and white with just red, so bring the saturation back down and re-invert it to our reds. I said there that we have an issue because of the poster. Let's say we want the poster black and white, it is only the scarf we're working with. We can work further to get rid of that. So what we need to do, we need 2 copies of our video here. So I'm going to lock off the audio, copy my video, make that track blind, so we have 2 versions here. Okay, I'm going to shift this out of the way so we can see what we're doing here. And then, okay, and when shifting out of the way, you can see now that that's 1 second and 2 frames out of sync. So Final Cut will help you resync all your clips. Okay, so on this bottom version, we are going to take out all the color correction, okay, the selective color correction, so we're just left with the black and white clip. So to do that, to get rid of the limit effect only, the blue ticks here, we get rid of them. You see there, we're back to a default and we're just black and white because our saturation is down. Bring the other shot over, the unaffected one, we still have our red and black and white. So now, to get rid of here, get our crop tool from the tool bench, move your arrow to the side, you'll get your square crop, pull that over, and then we have our black and white and our color. Just render that and you'll see it works totally fine. Okay, so there are ways around fixing these elements. It takes practice and a little bit of patience, so if you keep persevering with that, you should be fine.